Hey guys, welcome to Mr. Smith Kitchen. Brian, Mr. Smith Kitchen. Today's Wednesday, and I thought we'd cook some dinner together. So today we're going to do something that's quick and easy to put together, but it's going to take a little bit of time in the oven. And it's actually going to be quick enough we're going to get to do a side dish with it. And we're going to do a herb roasted chicken with a garlic mashed potato that I think is going to be out of this world. I got the recipe from a friend of mine. Gave me a bunch of cookbooks, and one of the ones she gave me was, believe it or not, the unofficial Harry Potter cookbook. But it's got some really cool recipes, English recipes, and this is one of them. And it's just simply roasted chicken, done up. Takes about an hour and a half to cook, but about 10 minutes to put together. The potatoes, going to take no time at all to make. And we'll have a nice healthy meal for a handful of people. Now, I'm doubling the chicken recipe, because I'm going to do 2 roasted chickens versus just one. But the same principles will apply. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're coming back, thank you. Either way, thank you. Hope you get something out of my channel, hands down. We are all things food. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. Notification bell's right next to that. We put out videos every Wednesday and Thursdays. Lately, we've been trying to do Saturdays also, although this past Saturday, I forgot to upload the video. So you will see it tomorrow morning, before the baking video comes out in the evening. At least that's my game plan. And then, thumbs up, thumbs down. They're always welcome. Or, I encourage them. I didn't used to, but it does a couple things for us. By subscribing or hitting the thumbs up, thumbs down, or both, puts our neighborhood on the algorithm, which is nice. It helps to grow our channel, our community, our neighborhood. And comments, they're also always welcome. Just be kind. Be considerate. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to speak your mind. Just do it in a polite fashion. Think before you type. All right. So anyhow, herb chicken. Trying to shorten up my intros a little, but I still want to welcome everybody. Let's get down to the counter and we'll start doing up some chicken. All right. Hold on for me 1 second. Down here at the counter. First things you'll need. We'll need a roasting pan of some sort. I've got just my classic 1970s blue roasting pan. And that's pretty much it. You'll need a chicken. You'll need some onion and some garlic. And then I'll go through the other things as we go. So the first thing I did was I turned my oven on 375 degrees. So that way we can get it warming up. The next thing I did was I took 1 medium onion. Now you can go big or, go smaller. Once again, completely up to you. But 1 medium onion is what the recipe called for, so that's what I did, and I just sliced it up. It looks like I got a chunk in there. Yep. Alright, so we got that onion sliced up. And we're just going to throw that in the bottom of this pan, along with 6 cloves of garlic, just whole garlic. With these, in this case, we're looking to get more of the flavor than we are going to eat them. And we're going to put those in the bottom of the pan, and then we will set this bad boy aside. Alright, I'm telling you, this has got 3 of the easiest steps in the world. In this gray bowl, I have 4 tablespoons of butter total. You want 2 tablespoons of butter per bird. Alright, so I've got 4 in there because I've got 2 birds sitting here. And you want your chickens to be right around 3-4 pounds. They don't have to be big, or they don't have to be big chickens. They can be smaller chickens. Mine are a little bigger. The only thing I could find was ones that were closer to 5 pounds, which just means I got to make them. I got to cook them just a hair longer than what the directions say. But to my butter, I am going to take a half a teaspoon of parsley. All right, so in this case, I'm going to do 1 teaspoon, but you would want 2 teaspoons of butter, a half a teaspoon of parsley, And then you're going to add to that, you can use fresh parsley in this, it gives that as an option. I just don't have any, but I have plenty of dried parsley. And to this, I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of sage, dried sage. Sage is really common with chicken, especially roasted chicken. And then I'm going to add you would add a 1/4 teaspoon of thyme. Now, you can do more, less, completely up to you. If there's another spice you would like to put in this, awesome, you can. But, yeah, these are what the instructions say in the book, at any rate. And then I'm just going to give those a good mash. My butter is at room temperature. Yeah, so it's softened. And I'm just going to mash this up. Okay, we got it all blended together, and I just used my fingers. I mean, there was no sense in wasting a utensil to do that with. I mean, we essentially just got a really nice, very intense herb butter. But there's a reason for that. So what we want to do next is grab our chicken, all right? You'll want to open it up, because sometimes, I mean, I know whole chickens are kind of gross if you're not used to them. But sometimes they come with extra parts on the inside. You know, they'll be like the neck, the gizzard, the livers, the hearts. Sometimes they'll put them in there, which are great to add flavor, but we don't need them in this case. And occasionally you will see what looks like little pins sticking out all over the place. Those are feathers. Go ahead and pull those off. You literally just 2 fingers and pull. For this application, we're going to take our butter, all right, and with the skin of the chicken, we're going to lift it up because it'll come loose fairly easy. This is actually tearing. It's a little thin. We're going to take that butter mix and we're just going to rub it inside these chickens. You know, it's in between the skin and the meat. All right, and what that's going to do is allow that to get in there and literally baste our meat. And not only do you want to do in between the skin and the meat, okay, and I'm breast side up, we're going to want to put a little on the inside too. And then we're going to flip it over and do the same thing to the back side. You know, now I went ahead before we started filming and I opened this chicken up because it's a little challenging to get your hand up in there like such. In the beginning, you got to kind of work it. There'll be like little places where the skin is, yeah, connected to the chicken. And I know this all can sound kind of like, ugh, why would you want to do all this? But it's worth it. And in today's pricing range for food, a whole chicken is the way to go. Now you can also, you know, once you got your inside done, you can rub it on the outside like this, and you want to make sure that your chicken is dry. Okay, you'll pull it out of the bag, it'll be wet, you know, and yeah, just wet from where it's probably been shipped and it was frozen. But you want to pat it dry. Just take a paper towel, pat it dry. Okay, so we got that done. Now all I have to do is grab my pan again, like such. Let's do this. We'll do the top first. I've got some cooking twine here, and we're literally just going to rope this chicken's legs together. Rope the legs together, cut off the excess, just like that. Then we're going to take the wings, tuck them into the drums, just like that. And then we're going to set the bird down in the pan, and we're going to want them breast side up, okay? So that way, I mean, it should look just like I had it with the legs together. So if it's sitting there in the pan, you'll want them legs side up. All right, well, let me get this other chicken done real quick, and when I come back, we'll talk about what to do after this. All right, so we got our seasoning in between the skin of the chicken and the chicken itself. We've got our legs put together, tied up nice, wings tucked in, sitting on top of our bed of onions and garlic. So the next thing we need to do is just take about a teaspoon, tablespoon's worth of salt. It's completely up to you how much ever salt you like, but you want to give it a good sprinkling in on your chicken. Just on top there. Give it a good rub in a little bit, like such. Then we're going to take some pepper and do the exact same thing. Spread that on. And there with the other. Rub that in real good. With the butter. There we are there. Wipe my hands off real quick. And then we're going to take about a half a cup of water and we're going to put it down in the bottom of this. Doesn't take a lot of water. Alright, and that's all we got to do to prep our chicken. So what do we do next? Well, remember we set our oven at 375, right? So, excuse me. So we got our oven at 375. We're going to put these birds in there for at the 375 for about 45-50 minutes. And then we're going to turn our oven up to 450 degrees and roast them an additional 30 minutes. I'm going to leave the lid off of my roaster until till the tops of these birds turn a nice golden brown. And when we turn this up to 450, take your pan and rotate it around. So 375 for 50 minutes, 50. Open up your oven, turn your pan around, turn your oven to 450 degrees. Then we're going to continue to cook them for another 30 minutes. If we start to get too golden brown on top, we'll throw the lid on. If you don't have a lid for your roaster, you can always use aluminum foil. And we're looking for an internal temperature of 170 degrees. So when we get these in the oven and when I come back, we'll make some mashed potatoes up. These roasted garlic mashed potatoes that sound absolutely wonderful. And that way we can bring it all together. All right, I'll see you back here in just 1 second. Okay, we got the chicken in the oven. It's still got about 20 minutes left on before we got to kick the temp up and give it a good look at. So let's go ahead and start making our potatoes because we're going to boil our potatoes. We're making them from scratch. So that's going to take a little bit of time and hopefully we'll get it all to come together at once. Let's go ahead and get down to the countertop. We'll talk about what we're going to do, what we're going to need, and what we'll need to make this stuff with. All right, hold on. All right, down here at the counter again. So a couple of things we're going to need. We're going to need a pan of some sort. I'm just using my small 9-inch cast iron and I'm using a stock pot. And those two things you'll need is we're going to boil our potatoes. So the first thing we need to start doing is get our potatoes going. So I've got, the recipe calls for Yukon Gold, but I've got red potatoes. That's our preferred potato for mashed potatoes. And I'm sure you can't, well yeah, you can see it. I've got a little bit of the skin left on them. We like that. So, but you can, in reality, use what potato you and your family like. You know, I've made mashed potatoes out of everything. Yukon Golds, Reds, Russets, you know, just whatever you like. Now, if you're using a russet potato, which is the most economical and the most common found lately, make sure you soak them in ice cold water for about 10 minutes. Rinse them, soak them again for another 10 minutes before you use them. That pulls all that starch out of them. You want to get the starch out of it. Reds and Yukon Golds don't have that starch content. Alright, so now we're just going to cover this with water, just like such. And we're going to bring those up to a boil. So we'll go ahead and get that on. Get that started. I'll put my lid on it. We'll leave it cockeyed. That will help it to boil quicker. While we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and get our skillet warmed up. Because we're going to saute a medium-sized chopped onion, diced onion, however you like your onion. And I've got a medium onion there, and I've got 3 to 4 cloves of garlic. Once again, depends on how much you like garlic. I've got 4 small cloves in here, just minced up. So let me get that warmed up, and we will, well, here, we'll do this first. 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil in the pan. Alright, that way you know your pan is warmed up when that is shimmering, right? And we got just a little bit of smoke coming off of it. So when your oil starts to dance and there's a little bit of smoke coming off of it, we'll know it'll be time to put our onions in there. Okay, so we're dancing. We're starting to smoke a little there. That way we know we're about ready to start boiling. And our potatoes are going to boil for 20 minutes, all right, until they're fork tender and just about to fall apart. So, oil's dancing. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get our garlic in there, or our onions in there, like such. And we're going to cook these. Yeah, we're going to basically saute them for till they're nicely browned, about 10 minutes is what it says. So we're going to caramelize them. So we're going to let these saute for about 10 minutes. Okay, so we've got our onions a nice golden brown. It's smelling fantastic in the kitchen between the chicken and the onions. So now we're just going to put our, in my case, 4 cloves of garlic in, 3 to 4 cloves of minced garlic in here, and we're just going to let this simmer or saute for about 15 minutes or 15 seconds tops. What we're looking for is just that smell of garlic to start coming in. We don't want to burn the garlic, so make sure you're, constantly moving it around. And once you smell that garlic, like right now I'm starting to smell it, we're done. So all we have to do is turn our heat off, and I'm going to move this off of the heat, and it's just going to sit there until our potatoes are done. Once our potatoes are done, we'll put everything together. It'll be awesome. Alright, I'll be right back. Our potatoes have been boiling for about 20 minutes, and to check them, all I'm going to do is grab one of the bigger chunks, maybe, pull it out, and see how I can put my fork through it, and it breaks it apart. That means we're where we need to be. And I can let them go. What we don't want to do is overboil them, and then we're down to trying to pull them out and them being mushy. So, we'll go ahead and turn this off. Grab my oven glove and a towel, and we're going to drain our potatoes, which means you're probably going to get a steam bath, maybe, because you're right over top of the colander. Okay, we got potatoes drained. Dump them back in here right quick. Throw the colander in the sink, just like so. If you happen to have gotten a steam bath in the process, I apologize. So the next thing we're going to do is take our handy dandy potato masher, which I'm still going to need my glove to hold on to this bad boy, it's piping hot. And we're just going to start mashing our potatoes up. Now you can also use an immersion blender, you can use your hand mixer, whatever you like. But I thought, I don't feel like creating a bunch of dishes, let's just use potato masher. And we're just going to get these mostly mashed. Okay, so we got them mostly mashed. And if your potatoes are done enough, it really isn't that hard to do. So the next thing we're going to do is take the onions and the garlic that we sauteed here, and we're going to put those in. Oh my God, those smell amazing. Smell absolutely divine. Got those in there, just like such. And then we're going to add to this a half cup of vegetable oil. I know this is what threw me off, because every mashed potatoes I've ever made, you add milk. Occasionally heavy cream. But this calls for a half cup of vegetable oil, followed by 1 cup of chicken broth, followed by some salt to taste, which at our house is about a 1/4 teaspoon. And then some pepper to taste. Just like such. And then we'll give it a big old stir up. And that'll tell me how many lumps I have left in my potatoes to get mashed out. I know they smell divine. actually not in bad shape. Yep, these are in good shape. May take my masher and run it through a few more times, but for the most part, I do believe these are done. I mean, they are, you know, they're like homemade mashed potatoes. Now I'm just going to try them real quick for salt and pepper. I'll put a little more salt in it. I think, wow, yeah, good flavor. But we'll talk about that here in a little bit. So I'm going to get about another 1/4 teaspoon of salt in there. And all we got left to do, I'm going to run my masher through there one more time. Alright, we got them, I think, to where I want them to be for homemade mashed potatoes. It might still be a little lumpy, but I really don't feel like getting out my mixer, and I'm okay with it. So all I want to do now is we're just going to put the lid on this. Keep them warm. Set them back here in the corner, and I'll keep those warm. We got about 15 minutes left on our chicken, and when it comes out, we'll take a look at it. We'll temp it. Should be at 170 degrees. And then we'll get it out of the pan and cut us a piece. All right, I'll be right back. The oven's going off, so let's go ahead and get our chicken out of there. And that way we can temp it. Make sure we're at the right. Woo! I'll tell you, 450 degrees is no joke. All right. And there's our birds. Looking mighty beautiful. That skin looks so crispy. Go ahead. I'm not going to turn the oven off quite yet because if they're not up to temp, which I'm going to guess they are, I know they're falling apart. And when we temp them, we want to stick this into the thigh part, not the breast, not up here, not in the drum, but kind of on the side here where the thigh is. And see where we're at. Oh yeah. We are at 170 perfectly. Come down in here. 170, well, we're at 180 there, so we're good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let these rest for a couple minutes. They've been working hard the last hour and a half. And then after we let them rest for about 10 minutes, I'm going to put the lid on this. That way they stay warm, but we'll let them rest for about 10 minutes, and then we'll get them out of here onto a plate, and we'll slice them off and give it a try. All right, back in just a minute. All right, so we let her cool down for 10 minutes. I went ahead and got them out of the container. There is another look at our chicken. I think that looks absolutely wonderful. So go ahead and get this wing cut off of here right quick. If I can find the joint that goes with it. That will take her down. Because I am a breast man, for lack of a better term. So I'm going to go ahead and give me a piece of this cut off. And I'm here to tell you that's tender. You can't beat that with a stick. Get that off of there. And I can tell you that skin is just absolutely crisp. I love it. I love it. All right, let's get me another piece cut. Got our piece cut. Now we'll grab some potatoes to go with it so we can give it a try. Using the fancy china today. Yeah, hands down. And there's what our chicken looks like. I mean, you can see, well, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's got a nice shine to it where it's moist. The potatoes are still steaming. So all we have left to do now is set that plate down real quick so I can move you up here, is give it a try. I mean, I can tell you the potatoes are pretty solid just based on the fact I had to try them for salt and pepper earlier. But the chicken, on the other hand, I don't know yet. But I can tell you it's moist. I can tell you it smells delicious. The skin has got a nice crunch to it. You know, as far as crispy goes, I haven't tasted it yet. But let's give it a try and see how she tastes. Yeah. Oh, those potatoes are ridiculously good. I mean, ridiculously good. You can taste the potato, the onion, the garlic. I mean, it's all in there. I thought it was going to be weird using oil and chicken broth. No, not at all. That is a nice tender potato with lots of flavor. In this chicken, tender. I mean, and on a chicken, I don't know if you know this, but white meat, especially the breast, has a tendency, it can be very dry. I'm here to tell you, this is not dry. And where it cooked with those herbs in between the skin and the meat, it allowed it a chance to get down there in that meat. So I would definitely recommend giving this a try. It's fairly quick. I mean, as far as time to put it together, it's quick. It took us what, like maybe 20 minutes worth of prep work altogether. Most of the work was done by the boiling water in the oven. And it gave me a chance to do other things. So, and it's got a ton of flavor. I really like this. Yeah, I mean, give it a shot. Hands down. So tomorrow, we're going to make some coconut chocolate chip cookies. I made a batch today. I've been playing with chocolate chip cookies now for years. And trying to find a good recipe. And one of my friends, Tone, had said something about a coconut chocolate chip cookie. He thought it sounded good, and he's coming. He's going to be here, and yeah, why not? So we're going to make some chocolate chip cookies, coconut chocolate chip cookies tomorrow. And I'm gonna kind of wing the recipe because I'm looking to make what I think is the ultimate cookie. So we're gonna do that. Also, let's talk about the chicken for a minute. So we're gonna eat this tonight, and then we'll take all the meat off of the bones with the leftovers, right? What do we do with the bones? Well, the reason why I made these two roasting chickens, it all kind of came together because there's about 8 recipes in that book I want to try. But I need to make chicken broth. So that will probably lead into this Saturday's video where I'm going to show you guys how to make chicken broth. I'm pretty sure I have one video from a long time ago, but it's not a very good video. And as soon as this one comes out this Saturday, I'm going to probably get rid of the original video. But it's dual purpose. We're not wasting anything. We get a couple good meals out of this. The bones, the carcass, we can make broth. We maximize that. And then I haven't decided what I'm going to do with the bones after that, because they obviously won't be in the broth. I kind of want to grind them up and put them out in the soil for the garden, but we'll see. And that being said, there's something I want to show you real quick. Hold on for me just 1 second. So check this out. Okay, I actually won this in a drawing. I guess you call him a buddy of mine. He's a fellow YouTuber. Has a channel called The Mudrucker. And I know I've mentioned him in the past a few times. And if you don't know who he is, check him out. He is like all things cast iron. He does some cooking. He does some preserving. You know, he has a really cool channel. And does a live stream every Wednesday. I have been a subscriber to him for ever now. I've joined his club. I'm part of his Facebook group. I mean, it's a lot of fun. But he called my name in a live stream, and I won this waffle iron. It's a Wagner waffle iron that he's restored, and it is missing the base for it. But I will hunt one down so we can play with this. These waffle irons are old, but this is just a testimony of what I talk about using cast iron instead of the other stuff. You know, this thing could easily be 100 years old. I haven't looked it up yet to see, but I mean, the patent for this was February 22nd, 1910, which was 122 years ago, and change. So, you know, there's a good possibility this thing's from the early 20th century, and it's still here. It's still in good shape. Nothing wrong with it. But anyhow, I wanted to share that with you, and if you get a chance, check out his channel. It's The Mudbroker. Mudbrooker, and he's a great guy. You'll learn things off of him that you didn't even know you needed to know until you see it. So try this chicken. If you do, let me know. Let me know if you liked it. Let me know if you hated it. Let me know if you used different spices. The beauty of cooking, you can make it your own. Always try the recipe the first go around the way it's made, if possible, and then kind of branch out from there. I know this is something I'm going to make again. It's really good. So until tomorrow for chocolate chip cookies, chocolate chip coconut cookies, I love you. I love you very much. I mean that from the bottom of my heart with all sincerity. Tell somebody else you love them and you love them very much. If you make this roasted chicken, invite them over for dinner. They're going to think you are an amazing cook, and it's great for conversation. So, till tomorrow, I love you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.